Hey everybody, this is Mr. Loose, and for your technique of the week today, I'm going to show you how to draw fur. So when a lot of you are drawing fur or coloring for an animal, a lot of people just want to do this. Okay, now that does kind of look like it has some type of hair to it, but it's just very simple, basic coloring. So all what you do and how you manipulate your coloring, that will help you to give it more dimension and create layers so that it gives the appearance of an actual furry animal. So this is not that great. You also don't want to color like this or just randomly like that, okay? That is all bad. So we don't want to do that. What we do want to do is we want to start off by building a base. So you can go in and softly shade with your color. Now I'm not going in all different kinds of directions. I'm just slowly coloring and building a foundation. And a foundation, for some of you who don't know what that means, it's your support. So you have a foundation in a house, and that's the very first thing that you have to do before you can build a house on top of it. And it makes sure that that the structure is secure and safe and will stand and last through time, and not something that will just fall apart. You don't just start building a house on top of dirt, right? You have to build it on top of concrete. So all I'm doing is building my foundation. So you can see I'm just going in and slowly and lightly shading and coloring on top. Okay. Now that's starting to look like a good base. Okay. And then you can start going in, and if you want, you can go in a little bit darker. Shading just slightly darker. It takes patience, but if you take your time and do it right, it will work. Now, sometimes if you're looking at a picture for your animal and the fur is going in like different directions, that's okay. That would be the color that you, or the direction you would color in. But just as an example, I'm going straight up and down, and I'm slowly just building, like I said, that first base layer of foundation, slowly getting darker. I don't want to go in really hard and dark right away, because if the color isn't right, then I've already messed up my picture, and it's easier to add more than to take away. So I'm slowly just going in and getting a little bit darker. Now, different animals have different undertone colors, which is like the basic color of what many people would say, oh, well, that's a brown dog or a black cat. But really, there are different undertones of what makes animals different types of colors. So I'm just going in with my brown, and I'm just shading it in. All right, so now I'm gonna go in, and I'm going to add just a little bit more hair, and I'm slowly just adding each individual hair. So going in, and now I'm doing my next layer. And basically all I'm doing is I'm just making lines, but I'm not going do like little notches. I'm kind of going in different directions to slowly build up the layers. And I'm going in light first. Remember, it's easier to add than to take away. So I'm slowly just adding some hair. Now I'm gonna make all of the hair go in the same direction, kind of like it was all like from like this side or something. Okay, it's really not that difficult. And there are different ways you can do different hair with different colored animals or different colors of pencils. Okay, I'm even gonna go in and I'm gonna add some black, but I'm just gonna add a little bit light strokes. And these are gonna kind of act as my dark, like shadows underneath hairs. And even like animals, like they may look like they're just one color, but they have lots of different colored hairs. I mean, if it was an older animal, it might have more gray or white. Also, like male animals are sometimes different colors than female animals. Or depending on where the animal lives in the world, could also make it have different colors. Or even different seasons. For example, like an Arctic fox, they're usually kind of a grayish, brownish mix of colors, but then in the winter, their fur coat turns white. So there's lots of different ways to do this. And even if you do it on different colored paper, your approach would have to be different. And certain colors would show up and certain ones wouldn't. So I'm slowly just building it up, and you can see it's starting to look a little more like a hairy beast. And I'm just slowly layering lines on top of lines, and they're soft. And I'm not just going in one direction, like boop, 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 consistently. I'm kind of like curving them a little bit, because hair, depending on where it is, falls differently. I'm just slowly building that up. It's super, super easy. It just takes a lot of patience. Go back in with my brown. And you could even go in. And I'm not like shading on top of it. I'm not going all these different directions. I'm just kind of... Okay, so there. It's slowly starting to look like a patch of hair or fur. Now I'm going to show you what we do if there's going to be something like long hair that's falling. So what I would do is, let's do it. Let's see here. Let's do this color. So I'm just gonna slowly just kind of do some light lines. It might be a little hard to see, but that's all right, because I'm just kind of going in with a base layer, going with another brown, and I'm just kind of drawing hair as it would look as it's falling. Okay. Basically, I'm just drawing each individual hair. And sometimes in the picture, you really can't see where the hair, like you can't see every single strand, and that's fine. But, so that's usually where you would kind of just go in and do a light shading. But on really, really close pictures of an animal, like a detail where you can see a lot of the individual hairs, then yeah, you would do something like that. I'm gonna even do like a crazy hair over here, like a curl. This is what you would kind of do for long hair. Slowly just building up, but don't draw too dark when you go in there. You might do some. So you go back with that light color I was using. Kind of gives it like a highlight, doesn't it? Even though it's a light color, it doesn't really stand out that much. You can tell it's just going in. Look at that beautiful color it created. Ooh, I live for this. All right, I'm gonna even go in with kind of a darker brown, and I'm just gonna put it kind of in the bottom part. So it kind of looks like this is you know, like accentuate some shadows. But I'm not gonna put them in the top because I kind of want it to look like the light's hitting it from up here. Oop, I went in too dark there. See, that was a mistake, Mr. Loose. That's okay. I can go ahead and fix it. So, let's see here. I can kind of go ahead and fade it to the top with my lighter brown. And you don't even have to go all the way down. If you want, you can kind of go in here where it's like you see a strand start, but you don't see it go through. All I'm doing is just creating layers. That's all it's about. Just layering and layering. Taking your time, okay? I even have a dark hair that kind of goes. All right. I'm slowly just building. I'm gonna go back in with my lighter color, kind of fill this in where there's some white spots. All right, and look at that. Look at how beautiful that, I mean, it looks like I could actually like touch it. All right, so now we're gonna do one more, which would be like super, 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 super short hair. So I'm gonna go in, and I'm just gonna do just a little base. Okay, nothing super fancy. Just my base. I'm gonna go in with a dark color because I want to use white. So I'm just gonna go in. Okay, let's see here. Maybe go in just a little bit darker, just to build that first base layer. Okay, and let's see here. I'm just gonna go in, and I'm gonna kind of go in, boop, 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 boop. And this is some short hair. I'm gonna make it look kind of like it's moving a little bit. Maybe, like if you ever look at really close, if you have a dog or cat, if you ever look at their face, it kind of goes in different directions. Now with your darker colors, remember they can be a little bit abrasive, so you really want to make sure you're not just kind of just doing whatever. Like you want to make sure you're paying attention. It's really hard to go back and fix it if it's super, super dark. And when you're using something like black, it's going to be super, 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 super hard to go back and fix it. So take your time. Always practice, mix your colors, make sure it's exactly what you want before you start, because if it's wrong, it's going to cause more work to fix it. It's always possible to fix something, but you just want to make sure you're a little bit certain. And even if you're still like a little confused or not sure, the best thing to do is just try. Give it a chance. And who knows, even if you do make a mistake, it could turn into something even more beautiful than you planned. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in. Oh, look at these little fuzzy patches, so excited. All right, so now I'm gonna go with my white. And with the white, it might either make it gray or blend it. Let's see what it does. Not really doing much. Now, these are not fancy Prismacolors. These are more of your, like your basic peasant pencils, right? So it's not really mixing that well. A little bit. I'm not impressed with that. Let me go with the gray, see what that does. But that kind of looks nice. It's not much, but I can go in and fill it in. Just going in with these little short strokes. You're just layering. That's all it is. It's a lot of work, but it's really rewarding at the end to see. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, I like that. Yes, yes, yes. Looks much more finished. Kind of like a Scotty dog. Super excited. And if your hand starts to hurt, that means you're doing it right. My hand is on fire. Okay. Almost there. Hang in there with me. All right. Ooh, look at that great layer. And if you still want to go in and kind of just do a few more, just to fill in some places, or go with like a little bit darker to kind of make them look like these are more prominent hairs that are... You can't go wrong with layering, especially with hair, because there's so much of it on animals. Ooh, yeah. Almost there. And almost done. There you go. Voila! There are 3 different ways of drawing fur. And I hope that helps. And go and try this for yourself and create these beautiful, fluffy, fuzzy, amazing animals that I know you can all create.